Every single morning, moms all over the world are rushing and starting their day with the feeling of consistent urgency. I know for us, the more children that we've added, and of course, once the kids started going to school, once we started adding more businesses and more responsibilities, the mornings felt more and more hectic. And I specifically remember after Brooklyn was born, who is my middle daughter, feeling really frustrated about not having any sort of uninterrupted time for myself. And I think a lot of moms feel guilty for even thinking that way or saying that or wanting that. But the truth is, we as women and as humans need that time for ourselves. And so it's very easy for us to commit our time to everybody else. But what we really need is we need to think about mornings being how we set the tone for our days. And it's easy, especially as a mom, to be woken up by your kids, get breakfast, get everybody ready, and you're just starting your day in the energy of serving everybody else. And so this is why I'm so adamant about having a morning routine. And if we really want to remove that sense of urgency and that heightened state that we always live in, it really does start with our mornings because that sets the tone. And so after Brooklyn was born, I was frustrated. I was like, man, I would really like to be able to work out and be uninterrupted. I would really like some time for myself to think creatively, to read, to journal, to do these things that were pouring back into me. But it felt impossible. And so you'll see a lot of things online to where it's like, oh, people say that if you are going to be successful, you have to get up at 5 a.m. and have this morning routine. And there's people that say okay, you don't need that at all. And to be honest with you, I'm somewhere in the middle. I am somebody who gets up at 5 a.m. But I don't get up at 5 a.m. because I'm hustle, grind, let's go get it every day. I get up at 5 a.m. because that's the only time that's actually peaceful and is not interrupted by my kids or work or another responsibility. There are 2 times in the day in which I am not responsible for anybody but myself. And those times are before my kids wake up and after my kids go to sleep. Between those hours, I am either advisor, coach, problem solver, decision maker, mom, wife, leader, all of the hats that we wear. And so it's important that we recognize that it's not about trying to create a morning that necessarily looks like somebody else's. It's more about us creating a morning that puts us in the correct mode and energetically in the right place so that we can show up for all these roles. So I want to talk today about how you can start your day in a better way, how you can stop rushing. And this has been a lot of experimentation for me because, like I said, I didn't get up before my kids when I had Cameron, and I didn't get up before my kids after I had Brooklyn. It wasn't until I started to feel resentful of what parenting was requiring of me and being the mom that I wanted to be was requiring of me that I'm like, wow, I'm pouring out a lot more than I'm pouring back in. And a lot of people just live there and they accept that. But I don't believe in that. I believe that we can't truly be the best parents, the best business owners, the best entrepreneurs, the best leaders for our team if we're running on empty. And so I decided that the only time that I was going to be able to get that uninterrupted time was when my kids were sleeping. And so that fell in the time early in the morning. And so there was a period of time where Brooklyn was still little and she was still waking up twice a night to breastfeed. And I just decided when she woke up the second time, because it was typically between 4 and 5 a.m., that I was just going to stay up. And so in making that choice, obviously I had to go to bed sooner that required us sacrificing some TV time, which in the grand scheme of things is a worthy sacrifice, I would say. And I just kind of sucked it up and got up because I knew that on the other side of doing that hard thing in the moment was going to be the release of that resentment and me being able to go and get my kids up and get them ready for school or, they were all home with us until they were 3. So be able to take care of them and be with them throughout the day while I was navigating work and everything else. So I share that with you because I was never a person that would be qualified as a morning person. I was never the person that loved getting up at 5 a.m. Still to this day, I've been doing this for 6 years and don't love it. I don't like having an alarm. I don't like getting up at 5 a.m. But I really think that you have to weigh out the pros and cons of things. And at the end of the day, my health mentally and physically, if getting up at 5 a.m. results in me being healthy and results in me being able to show up in the best way that I can as the best version of myself, for me, for my clients, for my family, then it's a worthy sacrifice to make. So that's my story. And that's why I do it. And I share this because I was not always a morning person. I still wouldn't say I'm a morning person. It's just the season of life that I'm in. And sometimes we need to be less emotional about that and just look at the facts of okay, if you have little kids and they get up early and they are dependent on you and they're requiring a lot of you, this just might need to be what it is for right now. And most times for most of the moms that are my clients or that I talk to that are struggling with this, an earlier bedtime for you and a bedtime routine for you, and again, turning off the TV earlier, putting your phone away earlier, those are things that feel hard and maybe annoying in the moment. But if that allows you to feel good in your body, to feel confident in who you are, to continue growing yourself mentally, it's a worthy sacrifice, right? So rushing your mornings feels extremely draining because it creates this energy of chaos that then you carry into the rest of your day. And that's why this isn't about getting up to work out and do the things and just feel good. This is about thinking about what you do in the morning can dictate the rest of your day. Can you turn it around? Can you have a bad morning and end with a great day? Absolutely. But what if you didn't have to expend the energy always turning it around, right? So the reason why we don't want to be rushing through our mornings, the reason why we want to start our days with more peace and tranquility and time for ourselves and quiet, for me, with kids that are constantly talking and moving and doing all the things, it really can affect your productivity. It can affect your mindset. It affects the way that you show up, right? Because if you're sleeping and you get woken up by your kid and you're like, okay, I have to take care of my kid, get them breakfast before I can even brush my teeth. Think about the standard that is setting. Think about the example that is setting. My kids know and have boundaries of they may wake up between 6 and 6:30, but they stay in their rooms till 7 because they know that until 7 is mommy's time and daddy's time for themselves. And because we've been consistent with that, they respect it. They may not understand it fully, but they're seeing that. They're seeing that we take time for ourselves, and we've explained to them that we take that time for ourselves so that we can be better parents. And so that's something to think about is what is the example that you're setting? If you're waking up and you're just rushing and it feels chaotic, understand that energy also, your children feel that. And so that's something that we don't often think about because we're thinking about ourselves and how we don't want to get up early and it's fine. We're just chaotic mornings and we just normalize it. But your kids feel that. Imagine your kids getting up and they come and they meet you, in the kitchen or wherever they come out to, and you're there and you're happily making breakfast and you've showered and you've brushed your teeth and you've journaled or read or moved your body or all of the above, and you're full, right? And you're prepared, right? You wouldn't go into a meeting unprepared. So why are we going into a day of parenting that's hard as fuck unprepared, because that's what it is, right? You are not fully awake. Your battery is like maybe charged from sleeping, but are you even sleeping enough, right? So it's not about curating a perfect routine. I would rather you focus on very small, intentional habits, even if that's getting up 20 minutes before your kids get up, just to have like drink coffee and not look at your phone and just be in peace and journal and read a book that you like or whatever it is. You can stack and build habits, but you need to start, right? If your mornings feel chaotic, that's working against you in every single area. And so it's not about that you need to make this huge leap and change everything. It's like, what can you do as a starting point? Establishing your starting point and saying, okay, what this looks like as my first point, instead of going straight to being a 5 a.m. person, is maybe I'm a 6 a.m. person, right? Or maybe you do need to set some boundaries with your kids, depending on the ages of your kids, and say, you're welcome to wake up, you come out, go to the bathroom, and then you go back in. And my kids have clocks, right? So my older kids are 6 and 8, and so they can read a clock. And even sometimes they will come out, I will say good morning, and I will say, okay, go back in your room until this time. And it's gentle and it's kind, but we struggle as women with boundaries overall. And I think with clients and with our children, they are the worst. And because we're mothers and we're caregivers and we're loving, we allow things that we then are resentful for. And so we need to think about those things, and are we actually being an example of setting boundaries for our kids? It's okay to say, hey, I need this time for myself, and so I need you to go play in your room. Or I need you to play, sit at the table and color, or whatever it is, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not going to tell you how to parent, but what I'm telling you is what's worked really well for us. So if you can just focus on getting 20 to 30 minutes in the morning that you center yourself and anchor yourself and feel actually at and have that is going to change the rest of your day. So what I want you to do is I want you to commit to creating some sort of morning routine for yourself. That could be a shower, that could be a skincare routine, it could be whatever it is that actually makes you feel good. But for most of us that are running through our days between client meetings, kid responsibilities, it's going to be something that involves like no noise and being still. And then of course, I'm a big believer in moving our bodies as well. But you can start with one or the other. And so figure out 20, 30 minutes, commit to that. Just start small. Then focus on like, what are going to be your non-negotiables for yourself? Every single morning, you need to do something for yourself that fills your cup. So this can also vary. Say you're going from, your kids waking you up at 7 or 6:30 to backing that up 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes. Try journaling one morning, try reading one morning, definitely do not touch your phone when you first get up, right? Do not go to your email. You need to spend that time without your phone, without anybody needing anything from you. That's the purpose here. So I would urge you to pick some different things that you could try in the mornings. Start small, which is like that 20, 30 minute block. Plan the night before what you're going to do and share that with your partner for accountability, right? One of the things that is so helpful about our morning routine and the situation that we have is my husband does it with me. He also gets up at 5 a.m. He actually at one point was like getting up at 4 a.m. because he prefers to have even more space and time. And I'm like, no, you're waking me up. But that's another conversation that, we are such open communicators, which you should know from listening to our marriage series. But he does it with me. And so there is a level here of like respect as a partner to where it's like you may be on different schedules and whatever, but like if you go to bed early together and get up early together and you're both parenting, like you both should have time individually for yourselves to honor your mental and physical health. So talk about the schedule, talk about it with your partner, figure out what are the small things that you can do. The rule here is no phone and something that makes you feel full, happy, like you've kept a promise to yourself. And so then you're setting the tone for your day from a place of fullness, peace, tranquility, fulfillment. And that feels really, really good, right? Because we do so much rushing and running from appointment to appointment and responsibility to responsibility that we need some space where nobody needs anything from us. That's what we really want. And so you can create that for yourself and you can start shifting just the way that you feel. If you can go to bed a little bit earlier, get up a little bit earlier, and that gives you more happiness and that helps you not feel as guilty for, not being present with your kids because you're so tired or frustrated or resentful of them, it makes a huge, huge difference. So when you start your day with this type of intention, you are going to feel calmer. You're going to feel more focused when you go into your work blocks. You're going to be a better leader. Your priorities are going to be more clear. You're going to be a better example to your clients, to your family, to your children overall. And it is an incredible investment in your professional and your personal growth. I get some of my greatest business ideas in the morning in the quiet, also in the shower when I'm alone, right? And so thinking about these things for you, I want you to just talk about the schedule with your partner. I want you to think about how you can tack on 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes for yourself in the morning. I want you to pick 3 or 4 things that you can try in those mornings and see what makes you feel the most peaceful, the most full afterwards, and then just build on it from there. You have the space and the freedom to choose what you do with that time, but you need to keep that commitment and understand that is your time that is always uninterrupted, that is for you. And so that is going to make you feel much more prepared, right? And there's tons of little things that you could do for your chaotic mornings in addition to this. So much of it is just about like your energy as a mom and how you carry that energy into the time with your kids. But make sure that you're doing the things to plan the night before, laying out outfits, talking about breakfast, doing lunches, and don't be afraid to delegate the stuff to your kids either. So those are some really important things just to think about that can all support this creation of a morning routine for you. I want you to take this information. I want you to reflect on how you currently feel in the mornings. And then I want you to identify, okay, what is the little schedule change? What is the first change that's going to happen? What are those non-negotiables going to be for me that I'm going to cycle and try? And when am I starting? And then talking to your partner. You can absolutely send me a message, send me an email if you want to talk through any of this, if you need accountability. A morning routine is bigger than a morning routine. And that's really the emphasis of this. And I am such a big believer in us putting ourselves first and how that ripples into everything else. If you have questions, comments, concerns, any of it, my DMs and my email are always open to you. Thank you for joining me for this morning routine episode and learning how to reclaim your mornings for yourself so that you can be a better parent, a better business owner, and a better partner. We'll see you next week.